What up? I'm B and welcome to my channel. I hope you are having a great Thursday today and you are ready to get into these topics. I know that I am. I have missed you guys because I haven't gone live for the past 2 weeks, but mentally just been a little bit overwhelmed from real world stuff, so I've been taking some time to deal with that. You may have noticed I took a little bit of a Twitter break, so that's what I was doing, taking kind of care of my mental health. Also had some family obligations, but I'm back. I'm ready to hang out with you guys. I'm super excited. Hi, Oscar. I'm glad you were able to make it today. And if you're in here, say hi. We're going to be talking about the whole Answer Us YouTube hashtag and everything that went on with that. Siobhan actually DM'd me on Instagram about it because I had no idea what was going on, and I was like, okay, let me look into it. We'll talk about it. So we are going to, and then we're also going to talk about Jen Luvs reviews and her AOC video and the non-apology and all that. Okay, so you guys are in here. Hi, Sinead. You said was watching Cecil McFly's onion video, but had to watch some of this live before bed. Well, it'll be up. As always, I leave my streams up, so if you have to go to bed or you want to finish watching that video, feel free. Dodling Lemon said, OMG, I had no idea Jen did anything. Yeah, she deleted a video that caused a lot of controversy, so we'll talk about that. And then Kona Bumble said, hi, I love that you're talking about this and you're taking time for yourself. Yeah, like, it's really important to take time for yourself, and it's okay to, I mean, I know YouTube isn't necessarily my job or anything like that, but it's okay to take time and to talk about it and just say, mentally, I'm feeling very overwhelmed. I'm feeling very strained and I need to take a break. And it's cool to advocate for that for yourselves. So if any of you are feeling like that, feel free to just express what you need and then do it. And do whatever it takes to take care of yourself. Because it was rough. Like 2 weeks ago, I was having a tough time. Tools McPhee said, hello. Hi, Tools McPhee. Hi, UA. Hi, Siobhan. Hi, May. Hi, Baby Bunny. Hi, Megs. Hi, Chardon Johnson. I'm glad that you made a live. Sinead said, I have no idea what Jen Luvs has done, but I've heard a bit about it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Quem98 said, I was actually pretty satisfied with her apology. She owned her stuff and addressed the biggest issues I had. Cool. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to it. I'm going to give people another minute or so to get in, and then we can definitely talk more about it. It's going to be the second part of the video. Druggy Vibes said, hey, beautiful. Hello, how are you? Alright, I'm gonna try not to butcher your name. Yajira Estrada said hello, hi. Hi, South of Grace, I'm glad that you're in here. Alright, so let's just wait another few seconds and we'll go. Chantel said, I found out today my mother, oh my gosh. I found out today my mother is getting brain surgery in 6 days. I'm so happy to see this live pop up and to take my mind off things. Chantel, oh my goodness, that is such heavy news. So I hope that your mom is going to be okay. I hope that it is a safe and successful surgery and that everything goes well. Definitely sending a lot of love to your mom and to you to help you guys get through all of this. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And oh, wait, I totally forgot about this. I wanted to thank you guys and kind of have a little bit of a celebration moment for B. I have 4,000 subscribers now, so that's super cool. I feel like ever since I hit 3,000, I've been kind of excited and waiting. I'm obviously grateful for every subscriber I have, but I'm like, those thousands are really cool to reach, and so thank you for those of you who've been watching my videos, and if you've shared it with your friends or anything like that, I'm really appreciative of it because now I have 4,000 subscribers and I feel comfortable enough saying this now. This is a totally arbitrary number, but in my head, once I hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm like, that's a number that I've chosen for myself that kind of says, okay, you somewhat know what you're doing. And so once I reach 5,000 subscribers on this channel, I intend to launch a personal channel. And it's not necessarily going to be vlogs or like following me around, but it'll be a lot more casual content, a lot of just kind of like hanging out, talking about stuff that maybe isn't necessarily YouTube drama. I tweeted about how I wanted to do a video trying different hard seltzers and like confessing my cancelable traits, and I feel like that would fit on there. So as soon as we reach 5,000 subscribers, who knows how long it'll take, maybe I'll start it before then. I don't know. I might just want to start it before then, but in my mind, once I have 5,000 subscribers here, that'll happen. So if you want to see that, maybe share the channel with somebody you know if you think that they would like it. Oh, you guys, thank you so much for all the congratulations. You guys are so sweet. Okay, so that was it. That was the one thing I wanted to just kind of put out there and definitely say thank you for, because it was really cool. Like, reaching 4,000 was really, I was like, oh my gosh, wow, 4,000. That was awesome. So, into the Answer Us YouTube hashtag that you may have seen going around Twitter. Essentially, I'd never heard of this creator before. I have a very specific kind of subset of YouTube that I watch, and so quite honestly, I don't watch a ton of the bigger YouTubers, like people who have been on the platform for a long time. I didn't get into YouTube really until just a few years ago, and so I had not heard of, his name is Moist Critical or Penguins Zero or Charlie. He is a YouTube creator. He has around 5 million subscribers, and essentially he had been he put up 2 videos. One was talking about how there is a channel called Pollution Entertainment that literally does videos where they put animals into bad situations and then pretend that they found them like that and rescue them. And they say like, oh, look at this poor animal, let's take care of it, let's, help it out because we just randomly found it. But essentially you kind of know that they're the ones getting these random animals and putting them into those spots, and so they're not helping animals at all, they're actually putting them in danger. And he's like, that's kind of ridiculous that this kind of channel exists on YouTube. And then there was another video he posted where he was doing a reaction to a fight video, and it was a completely staged fight. It was like a Russian road rage video, but the people who got out of it was a van and a car, and the people who got out of the van were not necessarily like mascot characters, but cartoon characters. It was like SpongeBob, a purple bunny, and then I think he said either Scrat from Ice Age or Sid from Ice Age. They were in costume. Like, it was a goofy fake fight video, and YouTube ended up taking the video down and giving him a strike, saying that this was content that was unsuitable for like the average person to watch, essentially saying it was too violent to be allowed on the channel. Oh, you guys like Charlie? I don't know how I never heard of him. Yeah. But apparently a lot of people really like Charlie, and so he posted a video talking about how he was mad that this happened. He's like, obviously this is a staged fight. This video is everywhere else on YouTube. It's still up. Like, this video is not something that would traumatize somebody. It is a fake fight video, and YouTube wants to spend their time taking this down. But these other channels, and like Oscar said, there's some on TikTok, like, people post really graphic, inappropriate things, and those get to stay up. Oh my gosh, Dalding Lemon said Charlie has been on the platform for 14 years. That's awesome. Like I said, there are so many big creators that I have just never heard of, because I have very, like, we've talked about this before. Once I know who I like, that's kind of who I watch, and I'm trying to be better about finding like smaller channels and watching them too, because kind of as a smaller channel, I'm like, yeah, let's go find other smaller channels and support each other, and I'll watch their videos. But as far as people who have been on the platform for forever, I'm so kind of, I don't want to say ignorant, because that's got like a negative connotation, but there are so many people who I've never watched who have been on the platform for a really long time. Like, Smosh. I've never seen a Smosh video. I watched a Jay Aubrey video. about Smosh this morning, but I've never watched a Smosh video. I didn't know who Anthony Padilla was until Trisha Paytas did her video about DID, and then I watched his whole the series of Conversation With, and I saw the one that had Dissociated in it. Rhett and Link, there are so many people who've been on here for forever who are amazing creators, I'm sure, that I just have never seen. But anyway, and so he's like, Charlie is like, why is this happening? Please review it. YouTube reviewed it, and they said, nope, we're still gonna leave. We're gonna, back up our decision. And then he ended up tweeting about how Markiplier, another massive creator who I've never seen a single video from, has a reaction to this same fake fight video, and it's been up on his channel for 4 years. And so he's like, why is this okay? His is still up, so are you gonna take his down too? And essentially Markiplier was like, yeah, where's my strike? Fair is fair. And then they striked his video and took it down. Or they struck his video and took it down. This dude has 23 million subscribers, and that video's been up for 4 years. And so instead of saying, we made a mistake, we'll figure this out, we'll take the strike off your channel, they gave Markiplier a copyright strike as well. Eventually, it did end up getting resolved, but, oh, you said the original video was uploaded in 2014. Is that the original video of the fight, Siobhan, or is that Markiplier's video? Because I think he said it had been up for 4 years. But, in any case, Chantel said, YouTube be petty. Right. Because Markiplier tweeted out at YouTube, he was like, hey, fair's fair, where's my strike? And then they gave him one, and they took the video down. And like I said, eventually they went back and they tweeted out something like, this is not a hill that we're willing to die on, we'll reverse the decision. And great, but also, after the initial review, I feel like they should have been able to determine that this was not unnecessarily graphic or violent. This wasn't a harmful video that was hurtful. And Markiplier did a video talking about how it happened and everything that was going on with it, and he made some really good points about how YouTube is a massive platform. There's something 500 hours worth of content of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. And so to have enough people to manually review every single thing that they have a problem with is just not feasible at this point. It is just a massive platform. It takes a lot to kind of regulate it, and obviously YouTube doesn't have that figured out yet. But he's talking about how you should trust your creators. You should trust that people, because both of these people, Charlie and Markiplier, have YouTube reps. They have big enough channels that they have personal contacts at YouTube responsible for advocating for them and taking care of any issues that they have. And so these are people that you know. These are people that you have assigned reps to because you know them and because they have big enough channels. Why don't you trust them when they say, this is not a harmful thing, you're making a bad decision? Kona Bumble said, some people are theorizing that there was a rogue employee who did it, which in that case better monitor your heckin' staff. Yeah. I mean, that could totally be the case, because I don't know. I mean, it seems like the training for people who review content is not consistent whatsoever. And we have all these theories about, well, this will get you demonetized, but this is okay. And you better bleep this word, but this one's fine. And everything it gets handled differently depending on the day that you put it out. It really is interesting. Siobhan said, especially Mark, Charlie can be a little edgy, but Mark is pure as snow. And I mean, being edgy is one thing, but putting out something that is graphically violent, you're accusing him of doing that, and he's saying, no, watch the video, it's not. You should at least give him the opportunity. You should at least have an open mind when reviewing it. I don't know how it ended up getting flagged in the first place, but if you have a creator who has been on the platform for this long, who has a massive audience, who has a YouTube rep telling you, this is not a violent video, this does not violate your terms of service, that's what you're gonna do. And the thing with me is, like, I am very, very, very grateful for YouTube because it has allowed me to have a creative platform and to have another hobby that I really enjoy doing, and it's literally brought me a connection with you guys. Like, I would not know any of you if I didn't have YouTube, and I really appreciate and I have a fondness for you guys. And so YouTube has brought really cool things into my life, but that doesn't mean everything they do is right. And so I don't like criticizing something that's brought me so many good things, but at the same time, they have to get it together. There has to be some kind of standard when it comes to how you're demonetizing things, how you're taking things down. Like, it feels as if YouTube doesn't necessarily view creators as people that they respect. It's kind of just like, well, where else are you going to go? What other platform are you going to use? We can do whatever we want, as opposed to really trying to take a collaborative approach with them. And that was a big part of Markiplier's video, saying like, we've been here, we're creators on here, you should know us, you should trust us, you should give us the respect of having more communication instead of just, well, we don't like it, so we're taking it down. You know, you could have given us the opportunity to take it down. We could have had the opportunity to cut it out. If it really was as bad as you're saying it is, you could have given us the opportunity to handle it, and you didn't. And so I do hope that eventually, hopefully sometime soon, YouTube kind of creates a standard for how they review things and what they determine to be appropriate or inappropriate. And honestly, people used to really love YouTube because it was so unregulated and you could put literally anything out, and there were very, very few restrictions on what could have ads or what could be shown to everybody. And that's great. I understand appreciating that. But I think as YouTube evolves, and, you know, it's not 2007 anymore. Like, little kids, babies have tablets. My 5-year-old nephew is so, like, I don't know if he's just super smart, but I've also seen a bunch of other kids just know how to navigate tablets. They know how to navigate and get to exactly what they want, even if they can't read or write yet. And so when you have such a wide variety of an audience that can access this one thing, maybe putting in a rating system. You know, there are plenty of companies who are comfortable advertising on risque comment or content, like darker content, edgy content. I know so many dark and like gritty podcasts that have no shortage of advertisers. People are willing to advertise to any audience, essentially. And so YouTube wouldn't have to lose money. They would just have to put more effort into sorting things out, in my opinion. Chantel said YouTube was the Wild West of the internet back in the day. Yeah, I mean, it really was. Like, you could post literally anything. And like I said, now more people are able to access it. You've got little kids and you know, teenagers, adults, everybody can get on YouTube. So if you gave creators the opportunity to say, here's an age demographic that my content is geared towards, this is who I think it's appropriate for, and you do have to kind of trust your creators to self-report in a certain way. But if they didn't think that they were going to get demonetized for saying certain words in a correct context, it would be better. You wouldn't have to demonetize so many people. You could have a wider variety of advertisers based on the age bracket or the rating that creators give their own content, if that makes sense. Dawdling Lemon says, the way I remember Charlie explaining it was his YouTube rep said that there are tons of different departments in YouTube, but those departments don't have any contact or communication with each other. Right. There's no set rule of how to do anything. It's almost kind of like, well, it's up to your discretion based on how your day is going, and we'll back you up if somebody comes back and fights it, you know? Like, there's so many people who have just weird stuff that gets them demonetized, and it leads to kind of, it leads to weird content being created, in my opinion, because you watch somebody and they could be talking about something so normal. I was watching somebody for a video that I think I'm going to end up doing for next week, and this person sanitizes everything they say. Like, they don't just bleep words, they will spell the word out that they are not wanting to say because they're afraid of getting demonetized. This creator tells people who leave comments on their videos, you can't say this word, you can't say that word, you can't say that word because I want to be monetized and I don't want to lose money. And I think that that person is taking it to a bit of an extreme, but it creates content that feels like it's almost that you're putting too much effort into complying with something else, that it's not natural anymore. It's not relaxing and enjoyable to watch this anymore, because it's not just like my favorite kind of YouTube content is just kind of feeling like you're having a conversation, hanging out with the creator. Those are the types of videos that I like. And so when they're doing that, oh my god, hint hint, pretty flutter by star, hint hint. They said sounds like Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I was trying not to give it away, but anyway, like it just feels too regulated and too sanitized. And then you also have, like, when they had Adpocalypse in 2017, people shifting towards family channels and family vlogging channels because that's where all the money was, and it was family friendly content. And now you're exploiting hundreds of thousands of kids because their parents want to make $1 million showing how cute their kid is. And of course the kid's cute, kids are cute, but you're exploiting them for money, and YouTube essentially encouraged that to happen by setting up their ad system to favor those channels, if that makes sense. Pretty Flutter by Star said, oh wow, I didn't think I was even close, sorry. No, you're totally good. You're funny. I figured, I was like, if any of you watch this person, you're probably gonna know who I'm talking about. But yeah. Kona Bumble said they overstrict content in all the wrong areas and let it go free without checking in others. Exactly. That's essentially what it boils down to. The good news is, though, they ended up saying, we're not going to die on this hill, we'll re-review it. They removed the copyright strikes from my opinion, or from what I know, and that's great. Like, I guess that's all you can ask for. I do just hope that eventually they come to some sort of agreement on what's okay, what's not okay, and we have some consistency, because the inconsistency is really kind of the tough spot. Sean said, I also think when YouTube started, it was a younger audience, but that's not so today. They need to accept it. Yeah, like, people who started watching YouTube when it first came out were kids, but now they're adults, you know? I mean, as it gets more accessible and more people, as time goes on, you're going to have a wide variety of people on here, and YouTube can't just try and make as much money as possible by having things be as clean as possible or as sanitized or shying away from edgy humor, because it just turns people off. Like, I saw Petty Page talking about how when Leafy is Here got banned, she was like, if you're a commentary channel, jump ship now. Like, figure out your backup plan, because they will do whatever they want in order to keep the platform how they want it to be, and it's not as authentic anymore. And I think that is an interesting point. I mean, Leafy's maybe not the poster child for, like, he did nothing wrong and they shouldn't have touched him. I never watched Leafy's content. I heard not great things, but I don't know. I never watched Leafy is Here, so who knows? But I think it's a fair point of figure out what your plan B is, because you can't rely on this system. Danielle Starr said, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who clocked Katie Joy. I watched a few of her videos when like the Micah and James Stauffer situation happened, and for those videos she seemed fine. I was like, okay, I don't know how reliable this info is, but it's interesting info. I'll watch her stuff. But as I started watching more and more of her stuff, some things popped up that I was not a huge fan of. I won't get too much into it because I do think I am still going to make that video for next week, but I was a little suspicious. South of Grace said, YouTube's algorithms are super uneven since they had to start monitoring that creepy kids content. Yeah. Chantel said, I would like them to also crack down on animal abuse channels. Absolutely. Not to bring it back to Petty Page again, but she did a video about how there's like feeder videos on here where people are like mistreating predatory animals. They're keeping them in cages, especially like snakes and other wild animals, keeping them in unhealthy environments so they can make videos of them being fed live animals. And it's kind of like a, I don't know if it's a kink or if it's just something that people like to watch, but she's like, the animals are being abused in this situation. And you can see, like, there have been other people talking about this, saying that snake is distressed, it's not healthy, they shouldn't be treating it this way, that way, or the other. And, you know, YouTube doesn't care. This person just keeps popping up. And so it's happening a lot. I know Kiki Chanel has talked about it, Petty Page, you know, Charlie, and I've seen it happen all the time. You know, the whole movie, the Netflix show, Don't F With Cats, that kid, Luca Magnati, he was posting stuff on YouTube torturing his cats. So it's all over. YouTube needs to crack down on it. Kona Bumble said they should honestly manually review everything that's being genuinely directed at kids, and like be set a rating system so they can know what videos to manually review. Right, like just say, hey, this is targeted towards kids, this is targeted towards adults, this is risky, this is not. And like my sister, my niece is 3, and so she watches kids YouTube, and my sister said that she had to go and try and block this channel because it was a dude in a, like, I think he was in a pool or in a bath playing with Barbies. And my sister said, there's nothing inherently wrong about this, but I don't know this dude. I don't know what he's like. I don't know what his intentions are. I don't want my daughter watching this thinking that if a guy is in a bath or if he's in a pool and he has toys, she should like him. And so she had to go and block that channel. And so there's so much interesting stuff, especially targeted towards kids, that they should be keeping an eye on. Marty McFlone said, I think situations like this are especially troublesome for smaller creators who don't have the power and influence of someone like Markiplier. Yeah, for sure. And I was thinking a lot about how when Gabby Hanna was kind of doing her whole I'm taking on YouTube for all of us, it really was more about her and about her shadow ban in her eyes. I don't think it was necessarily for the benefit of others, but this is a good situation, like Markiplier putting himself out there saying, hey, where's my strike? Fair is fair. I have the exact same video on my channel, so are you gonna give me one? Like, that is a prime example of a creator supporting another creator and doing something for somebody else to benefit them. Because what good does he do by getting a strike on his channel and getting a video taken down? That does nothing for him. It's literally for somebody else. I can't say your name. Dodling Lemon said, oh, the days when YouTube's motto was broadcast yourself and took it seriously. Right. Siobhan said, I don't like people using Leafy's band, comparing it to this. It's totally not the same. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen necessarily people comparing these two situations, but it just kind of reminded me of when Paige said, like, you know, it's risky posting content on YouTube. It's you can't rely on them. Because if they're going to take Leafy's channel down, what's to say that they're not going to do yours next because you said the wrong thing? That's oversimplifying the situation, I'm sure, but Siobhan said, I watch videos about fish care a lot, and those feeding videos pop up all the time. It's vile. Ugh. Kona said, feeding videos are great in the sense of teaching individuals all the tricks to getting an animal to eat when they refuse, but yeah, keeping them distressed to force them to eat is wrong and abuse. Yeah. Siobhan said, oh yeah, I have no problem feeding animals what they're supposed to eat, but you can see certain animals are being exploited for the content. Right, and I do definitely think that it is interesting to see predatory animals, like seeing them in the wild or seeing them in sanctuaries, seeing how they eat and their habits and stuff like that. It is cool. It's a super cool thing. And if the animals are being treated fairly and if they're being treated well, and it's, like Kona said, if it's for education, that's great. But there are people who are using it, they're keeping animals distressed, or they're keeping them in like way too small of cages, or when the animals are sick, they're not taking care of them, and they're just doing it for profit and for their own gain. Oscar said, Leafy engaged in a lot of targeted harassment, but I get the point she was trying to make with it. Totally Temmie said, hello, I'm new here. What happened? Hi, welcome. We're just talking about some false copyright strikes, but we're about to be done with the convo and moving on to Jen Love's reviews in just a minute here. Marty McFlone said, I get people being concerned about the slippery slope of banning someone like Leafy, but honestly, I think what he does constitutes harassment, and I'm cool with bullies being banned. I think that's a fair take. Hi, Chrisix. Welcome into the stream. Alright, so next we're going to move on to Jen Love's reviews and why people are a little bit upset with her. I got new, this is like a side note, I was just thinking about it. This is bubbly sparkling water. This is the blackberry one. It's really good. I was into LaCroix for a very long time, but I heard that they're like going to court, or they're getting lawsuits over having not natural ingredients in their sparkling waters, in their fizzy waters, when they said that they do. So I've been trying different ones. I tried Perrier. It's really good. This bubbly one, I like it a lot. Anyway, so Sean said, is Jen Love the DIY lady? And Kona said, Jen Love does makeup reviews and occasionally gives commentary on events going on in the makeup sphere. Yeah, so Jen Love's reviews is a kind of makeup education channel. It's kind of what I would classify her as. She does like weekly Sunday live chats, just talking about kind of current events that are going on, different things in the YouTube world and in the beauty world. And then she also does, I think it's called What's Up in Makeup, where it's basically like a news segment where she talks about everything going on. She focuses a lot on like skincare ingredients, all that. But the other day she posted a video where she was following an Alexandria, I'm going to say it so bad, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's makeup routine, and she was following along, watching her do it, and doing her makeup in the same way, and people had problems with it. I took notes on the problems that people had. So essentially, Jen thought that the makeup that AOC was doing, Alexandria, that she was doing, when Jen was doing it on herself, she didn't think it looked good on herself. And so she's like, oh, this is bad, this is really bad. I will say I did not get a chance to watch the video because people were mad at a lot of the things that she said. And so Jen took it down, which is, you're right as a creator. I wish I'd been able to see it, though. I did watch her apology stream, though. And so she's like, I thought it looked bad on me. I didn't think it looked bad on her, but I may have been a little bit hypercritical because it was something that I was not used to doing. And other people said that, it looked good when I posted it on Twitter and Instagram. People liked it. So I think I might have been a little bit too harsh. She also said that AOC seemed scattered. I don't know if those were the exact words that she used, but that was the idea. And Jen said essentially that she's used to seeing her give planned speeches, and so she likes the way that her speeches are written and set up. It's very easy to follow. They're very linear. But, with this, obviously, if AOC isn't a YouTuber, if she's not somebody who's used to doing makeup and talking at the same time, or having kind of a more casual presence on camera, you can't expect it to be exactly like the speeches, but she just said, I'm used to hearing her speeches, and this was different. And then she also, so, again, I didn't see the video. I wish I had, but this is all from Jen's apology video. AOC said something about the pink tax, and what that is it's metaphorical, or not metaphorical, but it's not always literally a tax, but there are many products targeted towards women that are more expensive than ones targeted towards men. Plus, they kind of hike up the price on women's sanitary products. And like if you get, I don't know, say a razor, they'll target it specifically towards women, and that one will cost a little bit more than one targeted towards men. So it's called the pink tax because it's more expensive. Jen, I guess, didn't know what that was, and when AOC was talking about it, she used the phrase people who menstruate, as in, if somebody is trans, female to male, they may still menstruate, but they're not a woman, and so they need those sanitary products. And so it's, it wasn't anything negative, but I guess Jen got confused and kind of compared her to J.K. Rowling in the way that J.K. Rowling has made some very derogatory comments towards the trans community. And so, again, this is all what I was able to get from Twitter and from Jen's apology video. I don't know exactly what she said, but she made the comparison, and she said, I was wrong, I misunderstood, essentially. Okay, so I'm going to see what you guys have to say, and then we will get into my opinion on it, essentially. Shoehorn said, because after her AOC video, I started to see videos about her problematic behavior and anti-blackness on my timeline. Kona Bumble said, Jen Love's reviews seem sweet, but really she's good at covering up her mistake before backlash fully hits. Marty McFlone said, I will say I wish when YouTubers made apology videos, they would include the actual content so I have some idea of what they're apologizing for, since I had no idea what Jen was talking about. Yeah, I really wish that she would have left it up, because I understand why she didn't. If she looked back at it and she was like, this was really problematic, I shouldn't have put it out, and I don't want to hurt people's feelings or spread false information, I'm going to keep it down. I get it, but at the same time, like, if Jen edits her own videos, I don't know if she does, but there's plenty of opportunity for you to trim out something that you think might be false or might be harmful. If she was filming and she didn't know what the pink tax was, she could have Googled it. I'm not saying that everybody should be completely educated on every single thing before they dare speak about it on a public platform, but if you're really unsure of something and you think, hey, this might be important, you could Google it, you could look it up, and then if she edits her own videos, you had plenty of time to watch it and say, ugh, maybe this wasn't the best, Like, sometimes you don't speak correctly the first time you say something. Sometimes you get things mixed up. It happens, but you felt comfortable enough to put it on YouTube, so I would have loved to see what she actually said to be able to determine a little bit more about how I feel about how she's handling it. Or I don't really watch her content anymore. We'll get into it. But, like you said, Marty McFlone, that would have been good to leave it up. Siobhan said, AOC Army is like the K-pop Army. They're strong. Yeah. Chrisick said, like, people really don't know how to hold themselves accountable, or they do and just won't. It's so messed up. Definitely. Courtney said, hello, sorry for being late. What are we talking about? We're talking about Jen Love's Reviews video about AOC. And, okay, going back up. Kona Bumble said, because feminine hygiene products are considered a luxury, for some reason the pink tax is luxury tax on women targeted products. Yeah, it's a luxury to have sanitary products. We're so lucky. Chrisick said, yeah, because having a uterus doesn't inherently make someone a woman. Yeah. Oscar said, did she call AOC a TERF? Essentially. she compared her to J.K. Rowling. From what Jen said in her own video, she got confused and compared her to J.K. Rowling. Kona Bumble said she could have unlisted it and linked to it in her description. Yeah, that would have been good. Because, like, people want to see. People want to know how bad it actually was. Siobhan said that she thought she caught AOC being transphobic, and the internet was like, no, ma'am. Yeah, exactly. Like, she was wrong. She made a mistake, and so she wasn't necessarily, she was spreading false information about AOC, because AOC was saying it in terms of, being fully aware and being supportive of people and saying, not all people who menstruate are women. And so AOC was being accepting and J.K. Rowling is not. AOC was being kind, J.K. Rowling is not. And so that comparison is a little bit rough. Alright. Dowding Lemon said, I also saw some videos of people calling out her anti-blackness in my YouTube recommended. I've heard that too. Logan Baker said, hey B, this is my first time catching you on a live. Hi. Totally Timmy. AOC is, that's kind of her internet name, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm bad at saying her name, and so that's why I'm saying AOC, because everyone kind of knows her as that. Looks like some messages got deleted. Kona said, Jordan, I understand what you were trying to say there, but just because your boyfriend is trans, that shouldn't mean he gets to speak for everyone in the community. Gotcha. Okay, so basically, people got mad. Jen took the video down. She put up that live stream, and people weren't necessarily happy with it. And I will say, the way she started out the video kind of seemed like a justification, and I feel like that's kind of the problem that a lot of people have with a lot of the things that Jen apologizes for, is that, sure, it wasn't intentional, putting out wrong information wasn't intentional, but you still did, and that's a problem, and you're not necessarily learning from it, because I feel like it happens pretty frequently with Jen. Like, I see her involved in a lot of, not drama, but I see her involved in a lot of altercations, essentially. And she started out the video talking about how when somebody makes a movie, when a director directs a movie, or an actor stars in a movie, or somebody writes a screenplay, they don't intend for it to be bad, so we shouldn't blame them if it's bad. Essentially, like, getting down into it, like into the nitty gritty, is essentially like, well, don't blame them if it's bad, because they didn't mean to put something out that was bad. And it was, and she goes into the stats of how it was her most disliked video, and she did, Oscar, if you misclicked, I can see if I can get it back. I cannot, but I can see her comment, or their comment, but Kona Bubble said, yeah, I would love to watch the video she removed and see how exactly she was speaking about / towards AOC. Absolutely. Melissa, Boomer of the Night, thank you so much for a donation. That's awesome. You said, thanks for helping me start my channel up to near 500 subs and 80k views in 2 months. Thank you, and again, so much love. Oh, you used to be Melissa Cross. Oh my gosh, hi. I was like, I feel really bad because I don't necessarily know this name. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Congratulations, that's so cool. Oscar said, I need to take this band-aid off my thumb. Go take it off. Go throw it away too. Don't let it get like stuck to the couch or wherever you're sitting. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, she said, like, I didn't mean to, I didn't mean to make a bad video. I didn't mean for it to be mean. She does take accountability, but at the same time, it just didn't sit right with me. I know somebody who was here at the beginning said that they appreciated her apology and you thought that they did a good job. So if you're still in here, go ahead and leave your comment about what you thought about it. And if any of you guys saw the apology video, definitely feel free to leave a comment sharing your opinion too. I wanted to pull up the Twitter interaction between, oh shoot, I'm so sorry. That was loud. But I wanted to pull up the interaction between Jen and Hannah from Smoky Glow. Marty McFlone said, I just don't think it counts as accountability when you erase what you did wrong from public view. Yeah, and that's one of the things. Jordan hasn't seen the apology. I mean, it's like a 10-minute live stream, but she turned the comments off because she was like, I just want to get this out, and then you can leave comments after. She didn't turn the comments off on the video, but on the actual stream she did. And so, anyway, sorry, my husband just texted me. I was like, what are you doing, dude? Anyway, I'm going to Hannah's Twitter from Smoky Glow. Smoky Glow's not involved, but they were tweeting at each other about it, and she made a good point. So I wanted to pull it up. Count Von Lilson said, to be honest, the apology video was so disappointing to me. It was just one more thing that I hadn't been vibing with from Jen, and I unsubbed. Fair enough. Kona Bumble said, yeah, I can't really consider it accountability when I can't even see why people were upset with her. It just gives me room to doubt her. Yeah, and that's what my point that I was trying to get to was, is that if you put something out and you literally think this is harmful to have on the internet, I need to take it down and I need to apologize, I can kind of understand, but at the same time, you filmed that video, you edited that video, you processed that video, and you posted it. So at what point did it get so terrible that you had to take it down? I could see if it was on a live stream, maybe, and like something happened, or you misspoke, or you were completely ill-informed about something, and you're like, this is bad, this shouldn't be up. Taking down the live stream or ending the live stream, I get that. But you literally filmed and edited the entire thing. Okay, so Jen tweeted yesterday at 8:45 a.m. It's telling when someone knows you're down in the dumps and they just push you down harder. Very telling. You can say that you don't agree with someone, help them grow, and at the same time treat them like a human being. And Hannah from Smoky Glow said, Jen, I think people are tired of trying to explain things to you and not seeing change. There's a pattern of behavior that is frustrating, and I think doubling down that you're somehow the victim and not actually apologizing like this is just adding fuel to the fire. And then Jen said, I'm not doubling down. I'm admitting I was wrong. I'm not a victim. I chose to put the video up, and it was wrong, period. And I think this is just a fair point. Somebody named Simple Soothing said, girl, get out of here with that white fragility. You have a laundry list of playing the victim, talking over BIPOC voices, and not learning. All these white women accepting your apology on behalf of BIPOCs is just vomit emoji. There's so many interesting tweets I want to read out, but I won't just sit here reading Twitter to you. Anyway, Jordan said, I'm glad we all love Hannah. I know, she's awesome. There are some things that I definitely don't agree with her on, and for a little bit I was like, I'm not sure. Like, I was really into her for a little bit, and then around the same time that like the drama channel drama happened where she publicly announced that she wasn't going to Nick Snyder's party, I was like, I don't know if I vibe with this, but I've gone back to watching every single video of hers. She's awesome. Oscar said she should have just taken it down and then done a reaction to it and her apology. That would have been good. Creatrix ZBD said, compared to Smokey, who reflects on her own thoughts and develops her own viewpoints. Yeah. Marty McClone said, good for Hannah. Kona Bumble said, yeah, I hate to say her name, but Jenna Marbles did it best. She showed what she did wrong, explained how it was wrong, and then apologized while taking additional steps to demonstrate her guilt. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, with Jenna's video, I do think it was great. I think the way that she did it was really good. I have some other opinions about like the timing of it and everything, but that isn't necessarily what it's about. But if somebody is getting called out for something that they did wrong, it is a really big thing to own it and to put it up and say, this is what I'm embarrassed about. This is what I did wrong. I'm sorry. It wasn't my intention to hurt anybody, and it was really bad of me to do that. And here's what I'm doing going forward. I think that was good. Chrisick said that whole Christmas party live stream was a hot mess. It was terrible. Oh, and the thing that also was interesting to me about the Twitter interaction was, I don't even know what her screen name is at this point. Allie, like T by Allie, Beauty Truth Sleuth, Truth Sleuth YT, or Truth Sleuth Official. I don't know what she goes by now. But she put out like a shady tweet about Hannah from Smoky Glow. She was like, isn't it interesting when a small creator collabs with a bigger creator, and then once they get close to their number in subscribers, they publicly drop them? I'm like, I think you're reading a little too much into it. You can change your opinion on how you feel about somebody. You can like somebody and then see a pattern of behavior and say, I don't necessarily like that anymore, or I don't like you anymore because this is how you act. So, it was just interesting. Anyway, you guys are talking about Jenna's apology still. Anyway, the point is, people did not love Jen's apology, and I think it's fair to not like it. If people thought that it was good, that's great. But at the same time, I wasn't the biggest fan. It felt like she could have made it a lot more concise. And another thing I wanted to talk about is she essentially, this is one thing that I will get her on, because everything else she said, okay, fine, you misunderstood, you didn't know. That's something that I can believe if you're telling me that that's a fact. Like, I can believe that you just were confused and you didn't know. But she also said that AOC was part of either the far left or the extreme left. I don't know what word she actually used. And she said that she thought that AOC was part of the far left because one time she took an online quiz and it said that she was like 97% Democrat. And so since she and AOC had similar views, she thought they were both part of the far left. And that was kind of interesting to me. You guys are funny. Yeah. Straight up Oscar. And Jordan said it too. Jordan said, we welcome differing opinions on this channel. Oscar said differing opinions are welcome when they're not gross or harmful. Exactly. Anyway, yeah. You guys can have your own conversations, your own opinions on stuff like that. I just don't want to get into Jenna's apology because we've already talked about it on the channel, and we've talked about the other surrounding information and the circumstances that were happening with it. So feel free, just as long as y'all are respecting each other and not having harmful opinions, go for it. Pretty Flutter by Star said, Jen prides herself on her research skills, so how could she not check everything? Yeah. I don't know, man. Rosiel said, online quiz, that was so telling. Yeah, like, and the thing about silencing BIPOC, from what I've seen, it's just kind of like when people who are black or people of color have kind of called her out on something, she doesn't necessarily listen, and she'll kind of shut them down and say that it's not valid criticism. Plus, there was one instance, and this is kind of the turning point of where I thought, I don't necessarily think that I'm going to continue watching you, is when she did one of her live streams, she was talking about black people, and I don't know the exact words that she used. I don't know the exact phrasing. I'm not going to try and paraphrase it all because I don't want to give out like false information or a false impression. But the way that she was speaking about black people made me feel like she thought, this is gonna sound harsh, but this is the only way I know how to describe it, is that she thought that she was a white savior, essentially. Like, that's how her words made me feel. And so she talks about how, you know, she essentially likes to talk about how she's a supporter of the BIPOC community and she loves everybody and all that, but then she has, in my opinion, kind of a skewed vision of relationships with people of different ethnicities or different skin tones, and then she kind of is known for shutting people down when they give her criticism and they happen to be black or people of color. And so I'm not the one to say that somebody is, I don't want to like label anybody, but just the way that she handles those situations is off-putting to me. Christic said white savior complex. Oscar said, did she call herself that? Does she realize that term isn't a compliment? No, she definitely did not call herself that. She didn't whatsoever. But that was the feeling that I got, was that she thought that she was so great for caring about black people. And again, like, I'm not trying to label her as anything or say that she said anything, because she didn't say this in any certain terms, but the way that she was talking about black people made me feel like that's how she saw herself, was like, I'm just, I'm gonna impersonate her, but I'm not gonna impersonate her because that's wrong. It made me feel like she thought that she was so incredible for caring about black people. And that it just put me off. And I don't know if this is a valid feeling. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but some of you were saying that you got like recommendations about how, Jen talks over people who are black or people of color and there are videos related to that. So I'm assuming that I'm not the only one who feels like that, but who knows? Creatrix ZBD said, Jen Luvs reviews is discovering that her branding can potentially box her into some very difficult corners. Trying to be inoffensive to everyone always ends badly because you're not being genuine. That's true. Pretty Flutter by Star said, how she taught in Baltimore. Yeah, I've gotten that same feeling from her. Yeah, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Shoehorns, I'm not glad that that's a feeling that a lot of people have, but I'm glad that I'm not like unfairly having an opinion about somebody. Shoehorn said, telling BIPOC that their criticisms aren't valid is so manipulative. Rosiel said, I got the same feeling. Marty McFlone said, all of Jen's apologies that I've seen have seemed defensive and intended to salvage her own image as opposed to trying to offer healing to those affected. Yes. And that is something that she said is, when people first confront me with something, my first defense is to be defensive and to shut it down and say, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I would never do that. I never did anything like that. And just get very kind of aggressive in defending herself. And then eventually she comes down and takes accountability for it. And I just kind of think that at a certain point, as an adult, if you recognize that trait in yourself, that might be something you might want to get a handle on. She said that she's gotten a lot better about it, and so if that's true, that's great. I'm glad for her, but if enough people are calling you out on this, and there's a difference between people calling you out for something dumb and something that's legitimately a problem, and I think this is legitimately a problem. If enough people are calling you out on it, maybe consider working on it. Jordan said, I think Jen was sincere, but it's not my apology to accept. Yeah, and I honestly don't know if I think she's sincere or not, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. Like, not doesn't matter to me, but it doesn't matter for me because the things she said were not offensive for me. Like, to my identity. Sorry, my computer is like freezing and saying it's gonna kick me out, so I'm kind of distracted with what I'm saying. But to go back to it, hold on, can you guys, am I like glitching out? Let me see. Oh, it totally has the old thumbnail on here. Okay. Anyway, I'm just about done. The point that I was trying to make was I don't necessarily know that I think that her apology was genuine, but the things that she said would not have been considered condescending or judgmental to someone with my racial identity. And so whether she was or not isn't necessarily for me to judge or me to say, oh, this is okay or this isn't. I will say that I had some problems with it, but ultimately it's up to the people whose identities she essentially insulted. So I think that's a good point, Jordan. Okay, cool, I'm back now. Okay, cool, that was so weird. Anyway, yeah, Pretty Flutter by Star said, I thought that was my Wi-Fi. Oscar said it was glitching for a second. I was literally about, I think my husband's playing video games. I was about to text him and be like, get off. Get off of Xbox. But okay, looks like it was everybody. Anyway, we're good. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all I wanted to really talk about. Creatrix said, beware people being reasonable, essentially. Jen said she's trying now, she just needs to prove it, right? And I think not anybody, but most people can change. Most people can say, hey, I realize this is a bad habit, I want to do better, and they can work on it. And if they work on it and they improve, great. I'm not going to hold it against you. But I do think it is important, if you're saying that you're taking accountability, to actually take accountability and to not continue those same patterns. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I've stopped watching her content for a while now. Maybe at some point I'll go back and watch her, but right now, with this situation and the way that she's handled it and previous confrontations and altercations, I'm not necessarily, I don't know, drawn to her content. I'm not like jumping to watch her videos. Yeah, Kona said, I just feel like Jen has had multiple chances when it comes to this stuff, especially when you have videos about it popping up. Yeah. True. Alright, well, that was pretty much all I had to say. I definitely missed talking to you guys for the last 2 weeks. Like I said, I needed the break. Mentally, I was just very overwhelmed with real life stuff, so I took that break, but I missed you guys a lot, and I'm so glad that you were here hanging out with me. There will be a live stream on Tuesday for the members of my Off Limits crew. If you want to join, it's $1.99 per month. We do at least one exclusive live stream on the second Tuesday of every month. So that's going to be coming up next week on the 8th. If you want to join, you want to come hang out, feel free to do that, and I would love to see you there. But other than that, that's all I had today. All I had to say. So, thank you guys for watching. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. I'm glad you guys all made it. Y'all are saying bye. You guys are so nice. Okay, I'm ending now.